Someone in the chat said, where was it? Yeah, set a reasonable daily goal and walk away. I really disagree. You know, we can have different opinions on these things, of course. I think that brings about a massive potential for frustration and potential for negative behavior for people who set a daily profit goal. If you're doing that, your goal is to make money. Your goal is to make that amount of money for the session so that you can win. And then anything that happens that takes you away from that goal is going to frustrate you. It's going to remove you from objectivity. It's going to have you getting into potential revenge type mode, getting triggered, going towards tilt, all of those things. It's because your expectations, your wants, as Tindler talks about in the book, your wish list, it's a bad wish list. I really firmly believe that. There are days where you can make a ton of money, and you should make a ton of money if you execute well for your process. There are days where there's almost no opportunity, or even a small losing day is ideal for your process and your methodology. Battling for a daily profit objective that you've decided, you've said how much you want to make and you've divided it by 250, that's toxic. That's not good. And I'll die on that hill.
I agree.
You're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for frustration. Tindler's book is called The Mental Game of Trading.
So if you own a business, why would you close the doors in your busy season?
Exactly. Unless you were so psycho that a lot of times when things got busy, you decided to light the cash registers on fire. And you're like, we're going to shut the doors because I might light the cash registers on fire. Well, you probably should address that issue of lighting your cash register on fire.
Yeah. One important thing that you brought up that others can benefit from is that when you say you have to consider as your job to continue to execute in that day or environment that you thrive in. Like, it is your job. You should look at it like that, not this is where it interferes with the whole I made my money, I'm calling it a day because I hit my profit goal. Look, if you're in an environment where you do really well and your win rate's higher, the growth that you capture is higher, why would you limit your performance by stopping out because you hit your goal? Like that is, it just makes no sense to me. You need to, it is your job. You need to execute, show up and continue performing, because there's going to be periods where you don't, and that additional growth, capped your drawdown. It kept your mental or emotional bank account filled up. So you should see it that way. And I've found that many don't. Another question for you, since I get asked this, I have my own answer, but what is, do you consider morning preps, of course, trade plan creation or something like that, of course, but outside of that, do you consider any morning prep as part of your success to have a successful trading career?
What's the question exactly? What do I like, what else would I consider super critical in terms of morning prep for a good?
Sure, yeah. Or what do you currently do that helps you?
I think that you don't have to overcomplicate it. I'll give you a hot take. I think that some people get way too deep on the whole, and I think a lot of this comes from social media. Just, how should I put it? Going off the reservation, off the deep end with some of this prep stuff, okay? If you're saying, look, I wake up at 3:30 a.m., ice bath, then pure protein smoothie, and then I give myself lashes on the back, and repeat my mantras, and then back in the ice bath, and then I have to run 30 miles, and then okay, guys, let's calm down a little bit here, that type of thing. That's my take on some of the self-prep stuff out there. But on the other end, you don't just wake up in your boxer briefs and roll up, pull out your phone and start tossing on trades. That's also not good, okay? I believe somewhere in between those two, and it's going to differ for person to person. I think if you're doing a good job of staying healthy, right? Basic nutrition, basic hydration, basic physical fitness, If you're staying healthy and you are doing some quality version of preparing yourself, aware of your goals, aware of your process, aware of your underconfidence or overconfidence, aware of if you're too emotionally upset to trade that day, those type things, and then you do a good quality market prep to identify the opportunity at hand. If you take care of those things, you're going to be ahead of the crowd. You're going to be in a good position to come in and be your best, right? And your best is going to ebb and flow, and your best is going to evolve over time. But hopefully you're kind of getting 1% better each day, something like that, 0.5% better each day. And that comes down to like process goals, focusing on things, and that's part of your pre-market prep. Instead of defining winning for the day as that P&L profit target that so many of you love to do, define winning that session with something that's within your control, actually. Define winning the day as coming in and trying to do something well that you can achieve and can control. And if you do that, you feel good about your session, regardless of where the P&L fell. If you take care of those things in terms of prep for the day, I think you're going to be in a really good place.
Honestly, a lot of my trading is luck. It's not that, hey, I just got lucky and I did something blind. It's that, hey, the market just happened to agree with me at certain points. That's all I'm looking to do. I think, location A, B, or C, the market's going to make a choice. So right here, one example is overnight low. It's going to make a choice. I am speculating, like I covered my runner here because, well, I think there's a higher chance that they get a good bounce from here, right? If I was flat, let's just say I'm getting into a long and it's this spot again, like how many times does the market need to tell us? Not only are they holding it, they actually did already attempt outside. There's no boogeyman. The market gave us that info with this failed move. There's no willing seller out here. And if that's the case, price literally cannot possibly continue lower. And if you get into that range and you still find a taper in the interest to sell, which we're seeing everywhere, it could be volume, it could be your order flow, it could be your footprint. There was no interest. And if again, there's no interest, what happens every time? It pops, it pops, it pops, it pops. So the example would be location A, up or down? I don't know. But I do know that I'm going to say risk 10 for 20, right? If the market agrees, which is me, the luck, you will get paid 20. If the market does not agree, you will lose 10. And you choose these spots to flip that coin. And I say it's luck because I had no control. It's not like my size was moving the market. It's not like my opinion had any bearing at all. The market really does not care what I think. But that's the luck component. So you get lucky enough, and to me, all the trades are luck. That's what I'm gonna say. All the trades that work, it's simply luck because the market happened to agree. I had no power over that. The only thing is, where do you want to place your access, which is where you feel like you have the advantage. What is the advantage? The advantage is being able to risk a lot less than what you can make if the market agrees. That's it. Those simple parameters can frame an entire trade. Do I think a second income is a must to make it in trading? Let's say a year's worth of bills paid, second income. Is it a must? I don't know. I don't want to be black and white about it, so I'll say it won't be a must. But would I definitely encourage it? Yes. I have a rule for my personal friends. I will not teach you how to trade if you don't already have stable income. I will refuse to do it because then I'll feel like any blood will be blood on my hands and I won't be able to sleep at night. So that's how I feel about having income prior to trying to learn how to trade. There was a guy very early on, it might have been me and Stowe's like first week on NinjaTrader Live or something. And he asked us, hey, should I quit my job and trade full time? We told him absolutely not. I don't know if he's still here. I don't know if he still tunes in. He did tune in a couple months later and let us know that he did not quit his job and he's happy for it. But yeah, that's my thing. I think that says enough. I refused to teach even my closest personal friends how to trade if they don't have a job already or some sort of stable income, because that blood will be on my hands and there will be blood and I think there's a huge survivorship bias in the game. Anyone who's made it without another source of income is probably a 0.00001 statistic. So keep your jobs until you make way more than it on a regular basis, because money is just one thing. There is a huge pressure and stress component that will come along with it. You could be a great trader without it, but if you tack it on, you will be the worst trader. It can flip that easily. So strong opinion about not having trading be your only income if you're still getting your feet on the ground.